I hope you're doing well. My name is Gabe Ross. I'm a history social studies double major at Western Kentucky University, and today I have the wonderful job of analyzing an article. It's called Bullying Bias, Making Schools Safe for Gay Students, written by Mr. James Fleming. He's an assistant principal at Mayfield Middle School / High School in Lakewood, California. And pretty much what James was trying to do by creating this article was trying to demonstrate what's going on in his middle school / high school and how that can be applied to the rest of the country, maybe even the world, and that is that high school students that are homosexual are now able to join with straight students in order to silence the bullying of homosexuals in a school setting, which honestly I give him a lot of credit because he did a wonderful job on this article. I read it. It is a very, very great article. Pretty much my job today is to analyze this article using a template, but also to go a little bit deeper than the template. Pretty much used 8 different questions and stuff to analyze this article. And the first question is the main purpose of this article. Well, I read it in full and I studied it quite a bit. And the answer that I could come up with, number 1, the main purpose of this article is to verify the reader of the existence of bullying homosexuals and how students in high school are taking a stand against this bullying. As you read this article, you notice a gay-straight alliance starting to form, actual organizations and stuff that are stepping up, or not organizations, but actual groups and stuff in that high school that are stepping together in order to take a stand against this discrimination of homosexuals. Number 2, the key question that the author is addressing, and I came up with a hopefully good answer for that. The key question that the author is addressing is, can students overcome this type of bullying despite a natural distaste of the specific lifestyle? Can students overcome this specific sense of homophobia that's adopted, as James believes, by a national standard? Despite the amount of homophobia, can students step past this sort of line, this wall, break it down, and bring straight and gay students together? Number 3, the most important information in this article, and I believe the most important information in this article is that the amount of students that are actually taking a stand against bullying and homosexuals is increasing. Students are actually stepping up and speaking out, and there is an organization that's discussed in the article, like I said before, called the Gay-Straight Alliances, that's speaking out the bullying of homosexuality, or rather of homosexuals in the school, which is really, really a way to be able to bring students together and focus less on their homosexual lifestyles or their straight lifestyles and focus more on the educational, sort of environment that they're participating in with straight students. So you want to be able to get past that homophobia and kind of get into the students' minds and bring them together as a community in order to accomplish things. Because if you're constantly focused on homophobia, if you're constantly focused on people and their differences, then how are you going to be able to break down those walls? Number 4, the main inferences and conclusions in this article are that despite the amount of bullying that exists in the United States of homosexuals, students are learning to accept homosexuals despite, within the past few years, like I said before, a sense of homophobia. And I feel like that question kind of answers itself. Number 5, the key concepts that we need to understand in this article are that we need to be able to form an alliance in an educational environment. His key word, I believe, was the word alliance. The author wants us to realize that the constantly emerging sense of unity is actually becoming a reality. Unity is occurring between straight and gay students that we see in the school system. And I believe personally that this is just one example. James is talking about the school system in his particular high school, but I believe that it's becoming a national or a nationwide thing. You start to see it in the news. You start to see it as equality or equal rights for homosexuals and stuff in a normally homophobic society. It's starting to emerge. The main assumption underlying the author's thinking is that students of all high schools in the nation will adopt this same ideology about homosexuals in schools, or homosexual students in schools, which, to follow that assumption, will be foolish. And this is why. This is why I believe. Schools in the South, in the Bible Belt, generally are conservative, and the majority of them, not all of them, might I say, but most students and stuff that are in the Bible Belt follow the religion of Christianity. Now, there are some Christians and stuff, and me personally, myself, I try to focus more on the person at hand rather than their lifestyle. But most of the students, especially in high school, because I know I was a little different in high school, but most of the schools in the South and Bible Belt that are against homosexuality because they believe that it violates their religious belief. And once again, I mean, that's kind of what I believe, but there's got to be a separation between education and a particular lifestyle. So, if we take this line of reasoning seriously, the implications are that we will begin to see a decrease in homophobia in schools and an acceptance of the homosexual lifestyle. Now, everybody may not agree with that. You may not have a bunch of straight students turning gay in order to accept it. However, you will start to see an acceptance of people as they are, regardless of their sexual lifestyle. Now, if we fail to take this line of reasoning seriously, the implications are that homophobia will continue to separate us as a society, according to James Fleming, and continue to separate the student body in the school system. So you will continue to see this gap, this constant joking, like, oh man, that's so gay, like a constant insulting of that kind of lifestyle, because either they don't understand it or they don't accept it. And lastly, the main point of view presented in this article is from the view of the instructor, specifically James Fleming. Like I said before, he's that assistant principal in Lakeland, California, at Mayfair Middle/High School. I keep forgetting that, but James is pretty much trying to show one example of how students are stepping up and how the entire educational world around that middle school/high school is totally changing, because people are focusing less on a person's lifestyle and more on people. And I believe that's what we're going to have to model as teachers. Thank you for your time, and I loved being able to read this article and being able to analyze it. You take care. God bless. Catch you later.